Hello and welcome to Food Neighbourhoods on Monocle Radio. I'm Monica Lillis, and once again we visit the places locals love for their food and drink. This week we're heading to Madrid to wander through one of the Spanish capital's most delectable open secrets. Hidden in plain sight of the city centre, the Mostenses Municipal Market has been overlooked by local authorities for years. But this has created a ripe opportunity for diaspora communities from Asia and Latin America to eagerly snap up once-ailing stalls. Mixing entrepreneurial flair with a melting pot of exotic ingredients, the market is now a sizzling array of mini-eateries featuring flavours from Peru, Ecuador and China. Our man in Madrid, Liam Aldous, introduces us to the gastronomic fusion known as Chifa, a heady mix that has turned the surrounding area into Europe's first, albeit unofficial, Chifa Town.
It's not just the tasty air that grabs you in walking into Madrid's Mostenses Market, it's the sounds too. Straight off the bat, the sonic, salsa-rich allure of Latin American song tickles my eardrums. But then I turn the corner and hear one stallholder blaring a Chinese opera from his mini-speaker. It's a true feast for the ears. If the soundtrack seems a little jumbled, this market's cultural symphony finds its harmony in the food. An Asian-Latino melting pot in every sense of the word, for many Madrileños, this gem remains hidden in plain sight. But before we start perusing the stalls, let's catch you up on how this hotspot fits into Madrid's ever-evolving food culture. I've invited young food PR extraordinaire Paula Movil for an early lunch to stir in some timely, dare I say, sage insights. Paula, who hails from Guatemala, joins me as we pull up a stool at one of the market's newest Chinese-run Chifa eateries.
All of us here in Madrid didn't know what was going to happen with Mostenses, which way it was going to go, and I think it's found a great way.
It's weird because it was always it's right next to or behind Gran Via. It's in the center of the city, like next to Plaza España, which is the main plaza of the city, and it's just always been a little forgotten and, in the kind of, shadow of forgottenness, something like very tasty has emerged.
I think it's so true and authentic that's why it's like maybe even like frowned upon or not seen by some. It's because it's not a place to see and be seen. It's a place to actually have very good food.
Sí, este plato se llama pollo chihacay con salsa naranja y chaufa.
So I guess we've just had this chicken dish, which I can't even pronounce, which is not a good way to start this interview. What is it? We just had chiauca. Well, there's still a little bit left, but I guess I invited you here today with, a little bit of an ulterior motive, which is also to get your view on how Madrid has changed its openness, I guess, to multicultural food, because it's always been a bit of a melting pot.
It has definitely been cooking for a long time, like Peruvian restaurants, some chefs traveling here and there, even David Muñoz when he first traveled to Asia and brought all of the foods, ingredients, techniques, and that was definitely a big change.
For those not familiar with Madrid's batch of culinary superstars, David Muñoz is a relatively young, 2 Michelin-starred chef known for his fusion cooking, love of Hong Kong street food, and for shaking up Madrid's food culture. While Muñoz is nowhere to be seen today, this market does count some of the city's best chefs as customers, simply because it's the easiest way to get fresh, hard-to-find ingredients such as exotic spices, fruits, and vegetables. Okay, let's get back to Paula.
I think right now in Madrid you can find food from anywhere you want. And I think it's exciting. I think it's also a lot of people don't know how to handle it. They don't know if the tradition is being lost. And they don't know if people are going to forget traditional recipes and homemade food that everyone was having several years ago. But yeah, it's an exciting time, I think.
It's funny because also just last week when we're recording this, it was Madrid Fusión as well. So like even the premier gastronomic event of the city is about fusing cuisines and mixing together. And I think that's what the Madrileños love, no? That's what they embrace. The challenge maybe has been for migrant communities to find a place to open, like it's not easy to get a local in Madrid.
What's very interesting also is that no other Spanish chef, like big chef, has taken over. So, for example, Mercado de la Paz, you have Triperito, which I love. Vallehermoso, you have Tripea. But nobody has actually took a chance with Mostenses. I don't know what's the reason. I don't know if this is like a very close environment. Maybe it's just the type of food is more going to be more casual. And it's actually kind of a refreshing thing to see that there's actually not going to be like a restaurant that's going to be sold out with bookings. And so it's a different kind of vibe. And what I really like is that I found dishes that I don't find anywhere else. So like fried wonton, I used to have it when I was little in Guatemala from the Chinese restaurant. I could never find it here in Madrid, and now I can find it here.
Paula dashes off with no time for dessert, meaning I still have some room for additional taste testing. But before that, it's time for a little local geography lesson. This market sits in the heart of Madrid on the edge of the Conde Duque district, which was once a quiet inner-city enclave, but in recent years has come into its own after some long overdue streetworks, fixed pavements, planted more trees and reimagined plazas. There's been a significant cluster of Chinese restaurants around here for decades, but the Spanish capital's official Chinatown is somewhere else, the Usera district in the far south. The other half of this story are the Peruvian and Ecuadorian entrepreneurs who started moving into the market more than 2 decades ago. Today, this marriage of convenience between Asian and Latino flavors meets directly on market plates, and exactly why I started calling this whole area Chifa Town.
Ají de gallina, arroz con pollo, seco de res, lomo saltado, ceviche. Everyone knows ceviche, but we apostamos por algo más, ¿sabes?
El Chiringuito Peruano is a corner stall turned restaurant owned and run by Pedro Oreta for the past 8 years. He opens 12 hours a day, serving breakfast, then heartier meals until at least 9 p.m. Pedro tells me how he first attracted somewhat skeptical crowds.
You have tapas everywhere when you go to a bar and you have a drink, a beer, you have a Spain tapa. Bueno, we create the concept of the tapas everywhere. We organize a festival of tapas peruanas with pisco sour. The new concept of the chifa in Peru is a fusion of the Chinese food with the traditions of the Peruvian food. If you go to Peru, you go everywhere, you see a chifas y los cocineros son peruanos, ¿no? The fusion of the Peruvian food with Chinese food and the name chifa is Peruvian hands in the creation of the chifa. This is good if the Chinese love it, the chifa, because it's culture here. Sometimes it's very similar because rices, chicken, beef, fishes have the elements of the products the Chinese produce. These people control this point, but we control the taste, the sabor, ¿sabes? La combinación perfecta de los sabores en la mano peruana te da un punto que definitivamente va a ser inigualable y que lo vas a conseguir y decir, el chifa es peruano.
As Pedro goes on to explain, the word chifa is derived from the Cantonese word chifan, which means to eat or have a meal, and can be traced back to the Chinese workers who first migrated to Peru in 1849 to build the railroads, tend sugar plantations, and toil the mines. This sizable population soon began influencing Andean dishes, adding ginger, scallions, and soy sauce to meat and fish plates, which created a whole new menu of soups, stir-fries, fried rices, noodles, and tangy sauces, often enhanced by local staples such as potatoes, pineapple, and ají amarillo, which is a paste made from yellow chili peppers. In the near 2 centuries since, chifa food has spread into Bolivia, Ecuador, and Chile, and most recently to this particular part of Madrid.
This market is now on the list of the recommendations for visit in Madrid. Maybe for this it's very strange.
In your opinion, is this a good thing that it's like ignored but protected in a way, or would you prefer there to be more visibility, more promotion, more tourists? I mean, it's a difficult question.
No, the tourists is fun people like the experience of food, like the experience of a real experience in a market, where you see the fish, the chicken, everything, the fruits, the vegetables, and you go for food. It's a good experience. The experience with the food, the ceviche, chaufa, like the 2-3 drinks, maybe one new beer. Yeah, next it's good. For the business, it's better.
A quick glance at today's lunch sitting suggests the market is far from becoming a gentrified tourist haunt, though. There's a strong showing from Latino and Chinese customers who sit comfortably alongside clued-in Spanish lunch crowds. But Madrid's permanent resident population is changing. There are now more than 1 million residents from Latin America, up from just 80,000 25 years ago. For now, the market itself maintains its retro charm with plastic chairs and disposable tablecloths and the informality of tucking into large portions at tables which hug the sides of the market's aisles. Another core ingredient of Chifa Town comes from Ecuador. The asador de Miguel Ángel has been championing the market as a place to eat for over 2 decades, with head chef Miguel Ángel positioning himself as a fierce ambassador of Ecuador's unique cuisine. There's a reliable local fan base in Madrid too. Ecuadorians are one of Spain's biggest migrant communities. His son, also named Miguel Ángel, has followed in his footsteps, opening restaurant Awayashka in the well-heeled Barrio Salamanca, but I catch up with him on the sidelines of the city's gastro fair Madrid Fusión, and I have to admire his entrepreneurial spirit. Today, he's even brought his own translator.
Nosotros hacemos una propuesta de cocina tradicional y de mercado en el restaurante de Asadero Miguel Ángel.
In addition to working with the concept of traditional cuisine from different parts of Ecuador, we also work everything that has to do with the products, including exotic fruits from Ecuador, like the passion fruit, guanábana, tomato tree that is different tomato. It's like a tomato, but it's used in juice and it's sweeter than the other tomatoes. Well, I believe that it's all the flavor that we have, because our products receive like a lot of sunlight, so they are sweeter. Our fruits are sweeter, for example, and also all our cuisine, it's really rich of spices. So it's really, really good. You eat them and you return to your child, and so it also happens to our visitants. They eat it and they don't forget about Ecuador.
After so many years on the market floor, Miguel Ángel is one of the loudest voices claiming it is time to level up.
I think that what they need is an internal remodelation, so they're maintaining the traditional infrastructure, but with a more modern vision to change the concept and to find other disciplines and other areas that can work together so that we can have more clients in the market and we can have a different face for the people.
Chifa Town, it seems, is at a crossroads. While it has emerged organically, layered with years of collective exotic spice, perhaps what this district needs is a proper covenant to get the multicultural community to celebrate what they have created and then safeguard its unique and tasty future in the years ahead. This isn't just a place to try an exotic fruit you may have never heard of, experience true Latino and Chinese hospitality, or tuck into freshly cooked, authentic, abundant dishes of fusion street food. It's also a beacon of culinary coexistence, a place where strong cultures prove they can meet each other in the middle and bring something new to the table. For Monocle in Madrid, I'm Aldous.
Food Neighbourhoods is a Monocle production from the team behind the menu. This episode was written by Liam Aldous and edited by Jack Jewers. For more food and drink stories, tune into the menu every Friday at 2000 London time. I'm Monica Lillis. Thanks for listening.